Hey guys, today we're on the campus of the University of Mississippi, and I'm going to do my best to tell you a little bit of the history of the Lyceum building you see before you. I can think of few buildings in our state that find themselves so intricately involved in such meaningful moments in our history. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about two of those moments. But I want to encourage you to do your own research and reading and learn a little bit more than I'll be able to tell you in a little short video. Out of the 5 buildings that were built on this campus in 1848, the Lyceum building is the only one that remains. It was originally a classroom building. It also held some offices, the chemistry lab, and the library. In the spring of 1861, students had formed a military company and they drilled or practice for war out here in front of the Lyceum. One sort of funny tale from that time period is that of Captain William Lowry. He was a 17-year-old captain of the University Greys, and he had been suspended for too many absences. He was mad about the suspension, so he rode a horse into the Lyceum with a bullwhip because he was looking for the chancellor to give him a beating. He had been to Jackson to see the governor to beg for muskets for the University Greys. During 1862, the university served as a hospital. You're looking out the window of one of the rooms that served as surgery for both Union and Confederate soldiers. In December of 1862, the Confederates abandoned Oxford and evacuated the hospital facilities to Jackson. Then came 50,000 United States troops that occupied Oxford, and they took over the university. Some say they had horse races through the central hallway of the building and out the back door and around the side and back through again. When Van Dorn hit Holly Springs, Grant left Oxford and went back to Memphis to try another route to get to Vicksburg. In January of 1864, Confederate General Nathan Bedford Forrest made this community his base of operations. Union General A.J. Smith came to Oxford looking for Forrest in August of '64. While here, he found out that Forrest had slipped by him and was currently raiding Memphis. Smith ordered the town of Oxford and the university burned. 2 young federal cavalrymen came here to the university and talked to 2 professors who were then the caretakers of the university. Luckily, they refused to carry out this order. Think about the people from this era that would have walked through the front doors of this building. We know that Captain Lowry and all of the University Greys did. We know Ulysses S. Grant did. We know A.B. Longstreet, who was the second chancellor of the university, did, and probably his nephew, Confederate General James Longstreet, after the war. Confederate President Jefferson Davis was here as well. General Sherman at least laid his eyes on the same building you're looking at now as he traveled through the area. Let's move from the Civil War era to the Civil Rights era. If you would have been standing here on September the 30th, 1962, you would have seen the Lyceum building surrounded by federal marshals. This is an Ed Meek photograph they have on display here at the university of that moment. There was a riot going on right here that started out as a protest to James Meredith, an African American, enrolling in the University of Mississippi. If you will look real closely, there's a hole just on the upper left of the door frame here. That hole was caused by a bullet that was fired at the marshals on the night of the riots. If you look real closely at the brick of the building, you can see several chinks and notches here and there. And I asked a young lady that worked in the building if she knew if any of those were from the Civil War era or the night of the riot. And she said, and I believe her to be true, that these chinks and notches in the brick could have just as likely been made in one time period or the other. There's just simply no way to tell. Looking out these windows on September 30th, 1962, instead of Civil War soldiers, you would have seen fire engines, bricks being thrown, marshals shooting tear gas into the crowd surging back and forth. A bulldozer from a nearby construction site makes its appearance, and of course a local Oxford resident named Ray Gunter and a French journalist named Paul Girard were killed the night of the riot. And all this because James Meredith, an African American, was attempting to enroll in the university. This is the monument that commemorates that moment that is located on this opposite side of the Lyceum. We will probably talk a little bit more about the Ole Miss riot in another video. But today I wanted to just introduce you to two of the more incredible moments in history that this building has been a part of. I want to encourage you to be aware of and study the things that have gone on in your world before you. And if you like this kind of content, I hope you'll like, share, and subscribe. I hope you've learned a little bit about the Lyceum building on the campus of the University of Mississippi today. Thank you.